We've heard both the other panelists. As we were talking earlier, what really has been your learning from the Operation Flood? Why is it that we have not been able to make Operation Green so successful? And you were talking to us about fruits and vegetables earlier. That is something that the Agri Minister also has been pushing on, that we can move on to these crops, fruits and agriculture, which are more remunerative, more quick, and give you cash perhaps early. How has your experience been in the last 7-8 years? What have we made progress into? What is more desired here?
Well, thank you. So I'm going to pretty much leave the debate on MSP and insurance and all to Mrs. Ahluwalia and Mr. Sodhi, both of whom have serious experience in that area. And I suppose we have an elected government which will do the right thing. I want to really get into our own interaction with this sector, which is stressed. Actually, we are one of those corporates who have really drawn heavily from this sector in terms of our inputs. So we believe that we really will give it another angle. We have looked at the farmer, and our inspiration is drawn from Operation Flood and what AMUL and the cooperatives have been doing in India very successfully, is that if we can take the farmer as an individual small entrepreneur and try to build a holistic solution around the farmer in the area of some of the produce that we use in our products, we felt that we would have success in contributing in our own small way in terms of improving the lot of the farmer and help in a very small way to reduce the stress on the sector. So we really chose that part of agriculture which is relevant to us, where we could make a difference, which is basically horticulture, and we started horticulture with fruits. As we really sort of took the farmer as an entrepreneur and looked at the farmer, we really broke the various components of what goes into making a farmer successful. It all starts with the inputs, assuming the farmer has the land, and then goes on to how does the farmer use the inputs to deliver a produce, and then how does the produce get handled by the supply chain, and finally what is the demand it goes to service. And this is what finally dictates the price the farmer is going to realize. The demand is what is going to help the farmers to really realize good price. And if you work further backward, it also, the profit or the income of the farmer depends on how the inputs have been deployed. Having really figured this out as a simple business model, which we are more used to, we went back and said, how can we really influence this whole process to finally ensure that we could do a small role in creating sustainable income for the farmer. So we started this experiment about 10 years back in the area of mangoes. Those days, mangoes was a crop which was very prevalent in many states of India, and predominantly we started in the 3 southern states. And we said, like, can we really do this cycle around the farmer? So we started with demand, because that's our expertise. We can create demand for a finished product, and this is what we've been doing for 130 years across the world. So we really pushed a mango-based product in a very aggressive manner to the consumer and started creating demand. While at the same time, we partnered with one of the top organizations in agriculture practices to really help us in getting the inputs worked on and the whole practice of growing mangoes worked on. So we really created a virtuous cycle over several years. And I will just go into the outcome of this effort from our side was that we were able to increase the yield of the farm from, say, about 6 tons per acre of mangoes to 12 tons, with almost a reduction of 40% of input cost per kg of mango produced. And by aggressive demand creation, we were able to increase the demand for mangoes by almost 4.5 times in this 10 years. The net result was that we were able to get the farmers to sell 4.5 times more mangoes than what they sold 10 years back. And we ourselves picked up part of it, but the industry grew. There were others who really contributed to that. With the demand rising, the price of mangoes is now almost 4.5 to 5 times of what it was 10 years back. So at a lower cost, higher price, stable demand, we found that this small set of farmers who are involved in mangoes in the 3 southern states started getting slightly more prosperous than what they were. Now we have extended this model to citrus fruits, And we have been emboldened by this, and we feel very happy that we are able to play a small role. So we've created a separate function called the Fruit Circular Economy, which is going to really start getting this virtual cycle implemented across fruits. So for me, the biggest learning is, while I am sure that the right departments and the government will give the background support, we can play a big role in really ensuring the inputs, the conversion, and the supply chain. The supply chain part of it was handled by us. We had this partner who would give consistent buying of product, processing, etc., and finally creating demand. So I feel that at the end of the day, people have to find holistic solutions like we found in the case of Operation Flood to create this whole cycle from demand to input. And that's my view, which will solve the problem in the long term by providing sustainable growth and income, while all the other factors like input subsidies, etc., is, I think, a matter of debate between the pundits in economics and agriculture.
Well, that really brings us to the end of this discussion. So clearly, too many concerns, a lot of solutions as well, but I think it's all being about patient and hoping that we get the right policies in hand.